Hey everybody, welcome back to the Kit Cave. Back with you again for another update uh, on this particular build. Apologies, I keep saying all the time. It's long overdue. Sadly, I've been a little bit busy, obviously working full-time work and having two projects on the go. Of course, the other one being the AMT Ertl USS Enterprise C, which is ready for spraying up now. I haven't quite got there just yet, but that is on the books for next weekend. But I thought I'd give a quick update to this particular working project. So this, of course, is the 1/6 scale fully articulated, or is going to be fully articulated, figure of Gates McFadden, aka Dr. Beverly Crusher from Star Trek The Next Generation. So of course here we're looking at her lovely face here. It has changed since my last update. I didn't take my own advice from a previous video. I wasn't quite happy with where it was, and so I spent a bit of time a few weeks ago just doing some little minor tweaks to the face here. Again, the more I was coming in and working on other bits and pieces to this model, I kept going back to the face, and it was just niggling, bits that were just niggling away at me. So essentially all I did was just sculpted a bit more onto the upper eyebrow here, just flattened them down a bit. Again, on the cheekbones, they were sticking out a little bit too pronounced, so I flattened those down. A little bit with the cheeks here. I brought them the cheeks, sorry, the bottom half of the jaw, just brought it in a little bit, and really it was a case of just doing some minor tweaks like that. A little bit of bulking out as well onto the upper part of the cheek here, the top part of the nose, round by the jaw. I just bulked it out, fleshed it out a little bit more. Again, at the top of the upper lip, it just needed. It was looking a little bit too flat, a little bit too thin, again around the nostril. So I just used the sculpt tool. It was more so the inflate tool, just to bulk it out a little bit. Did a bit of resculpting onto the eyebrows here. They were looking a bit blocky beforehand. Started to put in some of the ley lines here around her eyes. But that's where she is now, looking pretty good. I am going to leave it now. I'm not going to do any more sculpting to this face, because otherwise I'll just be sat here until the end of time trying to get it right. I am happy with it now. It's looking very, very good. What I have been working on though the last few weeks is I've been of course sculpting the rest of the body and sculpting it, chopping it all into bits, and of course been working on all the joint system to this particular model piece. Here in the head, if I scroll it down through, you can see I've done some very simple Boolean operations here to give this figure now some articulation, and Booleaned out here and started to insert the joints, and that's kind of where I'm at with each of these bits. If I put it in, there we go, here's the head and neck barbell system. So this course will allow the head to fully rotate 360 degrees, left, right, up, down, side, back, forwards, however you want it. However you want it to go, really. Looking up, looking down, wherever. But a simple barbell system into here. Now all these bits I do create, or have created a library in another Blender program, and when I'm ready to do these joint systems, they all get imported in bits, so they're all separate pieces. So two ball sections, what I call a pin, the pin section in the middle here, and that allows me then to fully customize. I can make the balls bigger or shorter, longer, whatever, really adjust all the scaling to them before they then finally get connected together, and the final Boolean operations done to the piece to have them interconnected. But there's the neck joint ready to go. As I mentioned, I have been working on the rest of the body and bits and pieces, so let me just get them up for you. First of all, I've been concentrating on the top portion. There we go. So here's the top torso. Been working and sculpting that. Again, you can see the basic Boolean operations have been done here. I've again got a barbell system, or I call it the barbell. Some people might call it a dumbbell, whatever you want to refer to it. I call it a barbell. Upper body barbell, there we go, same as the neck. So that's all done and in place, ready to go. I'm happy with that. Again, I've been working on the shoulders and the arms today, certainly this morning, with these pieces right here. But you can see that's the torso, ready to go. Or not quite ready to go, I should say. You may be noticing she's rather large around this area, but there's a reason for that. I wanted to start off with this particular model kit being quite large busted, because what's going to happen once this piece is finally ready to be exported out, of course, I do slice all of these bits and pieces in half. That just makes it easier for 3D printing. And so once this upper torso is sliced in half, I can duplicate the front piece here, and then I can work on the bust area and re-sculpt it, because I want to give people options for this kit. I don't want it to be, you know, people to be limited. So, you know, whatever is people's preference, you know, and I'm not here to judge. If you want it to be a large busted figure, then have it large busted. But I'm going to be creating these, I'm going to be reducing the size of the bust area here. So people have got options. It can have either be large, medium, or small busted areas. And then it's just the difference in the front pieces will still connect to the back, so it's going to be chopped in half. But there we go. So that's still a work in progress around here. I will get away from that, of course. I don't want to linger too long on that part for obvious reasons. That's the top part. I've got the midsection done. Again, there it is, all in place, all been booleaned out. Bit of a large gap up here, but that's okay. You know, I want to make sure there's enough space here to give it the articulation that I look for. Now, of course, the whole point of this is so that, again, the torso can pivot front and back, left and right, side to side, turn around. You know, I want to have as much articulation in this particular figure as is possible. You can see here at the bottom, I haven't finished this part out yet. I've just been concentrating on the top. If I take the upper torso up, there you go. There's the barbell, how it sits in the bottom, and again, that bit has been booleaned out already. So if I just remove that bit so that we can see, there you go, there's the socket there for the barbell to sit into it, ready to go. The reason I haven't got to this part yet is because I'm still at the process of working on the bottom sections, which are done to a certain degree. The raw elements are in place. So if I just pop it up, there you go, there's the lower half. Still quite raw, but it's ready to go. Already one boolean operation done by here, of course, to get the midsection to pivot. And of course, you know, I'm designing this to be in a section so that you know, at the midpoint here, again, this is going to have a barbell system in here, and I've actually got these already in situ. If I can bring them up, get them highlighted for people to see. You can kind of see it's all in here. Where's that ball gone? One of them's disappeared. Never mind. Let's do that again. Sorry, apologies everybody. There we go. So you can kind of see it in place there. Okay. But again, these are all individual sections at this stage because I'm not ready to connect anything in. Now, of course, this is not going to be two-way. I think what's going to have to happen here, certainly when I get to the legs and get the joint system worked out for the leg part here, the barbell joint, I think, is going to have to be connected to the lower half of here, and so that the top section, the midsection, just rotates and pivots round. And that's purely because of space limitations. I suppose I could do it. Yeah, I don't know. I suppose I could, but it's, you know, I got to remember I'm going to have to be putting in a ball system into here, into this side, to allow the legs to rotate. The leg is pretty much there, so that's another section, but again, this is still quite raw. I've sculpted the leg, got some details on there, and now just at the point of working on the joint system to get all these bits and pieces in. You can probably see what's going to happen if I've got another one down here. There it is. So again, I'm starting to think about where things are going to go, how it's all going to function, how it's all going to work, and it's getting quite tight for space here. I think what I'm probably going to be doing with this is having the let's get rid of that bit, have this barbell system here actually connected fully to this bit, so it's all one piece, and then the mid part of the body will just pivot on this top ball, and the rest of this will be stationary and connected, and that allows me then a bit of space in here to figure out the hinge and joint system for the lower half of the body for the top of the legs. And there we go. But here we are. It's all in bits and pieces at the moment. I'm concentrating on more so the half, the top half, the top part of the body, really, because I want to get it done, and then I want to start getting these, getting some of these sections, certainly the top bits, ready for 3D printing. I need to turn that one off as well. to get them out to the 3D printer so I can start physically 3D printing them, and seeing how it's all going to start to fit together, and any adjustments and modifications that I might need to do, I can do that as I'm physically assembling the figurine as it goes. As I mentioned, what I have been working on certainly to yesterday, for a few hours in the afternoon after I'd shaved my dogs, because they did need a good shave and a shower. I've been working on the arm and the shoulder piece. If I just bring the arm up for you quickly, there we go. There's the arm there. Turn off the mid torso. So there's the arm. Again, it's just the core arm that's been in and sculpted. A little bit of detail there, and I've been working more so on the shoulder. Looking a little bit knobbly up here at the top. I think I'm probably going to go in over this section and maybe just smooth this down, flatten it down just a little bit. It's looking a little bit, yeah, popping out a little bit, but I don't know, we'll see. I have got a piece in here for what I call the shoulder hinge. This is going to be my bullion piece. So this is the bullion piece. So this will create, obviously the top part of the shoulder here will have a bullion modifier applied to it using this hinge, so it creates the channel internally. But I have already created the actual the hinge joint for the shoulder here, which I'll just bring up for you now, if I can find it. And the list is getting very long and it's hard to find where everything is. That's my bullion shoulder hinge. There it is. There's the shoulder hinge. Okay. Sorry Gates, I'm gonna have to get you out of the way, but there we go. There's the actual shoulder hinge. That's pretty much almost ready to go. The only thing I got to do with this is connect that pin to this shoulder hinge, and then to get it into the shoulder. But there we go. You can see I've got a little bit of I've got a ball joint system going on here. Again, that's because I want to give as much rotation and much articulation, as I mentioned, into this figure as is possible. And so, not only with the hinge system is the arm going to be able to pivot up and down, and it's obviously in the socket here, it's going to rotate, of course, left and right, up and down like we do, but also, like we do with our shoulders, we're able to rotate them in a 360 arc like this at the shoulder, and that's kind of what this ball system is for. And again, a lot of action figures do have that, so I'm just replicating that method there, and you can see, there we go. That's why there's a bit of a gap here to allow that rotation with that little joint, that little socket right there. This arm can kind of move around and simulate that. Now, the one thing I'm going to be doing with this kit is I'm not, as best as I can, I'm not going to be having any of these what I call pins. I'm not going to have them showing and going through like this, because I really don't like it. I know lots of action figures do have them where you can actually see the pins go right through the shoulder, or they'll go through here, right through the side of the elbow. It doesn't look great, I've got to be honest. I don't know why companies do it, when there's a far easier way of doing it. And essentially what I'm going to be doing is, with this hinge piece here, this is going to get scaled up. It's going to be slightly bigger than this, so I'll scale this up, but then I'll shorten it down so that's all internal, and so you won't see it, because of course this arm is going to get chopped down the center here for 3D printing, so that you can connect it in two halves back together, encasing the actual hinge itself, encasing this hinge in between these two sections, so therefore this pin can be kept internal inside the shoulder, and this pin will be bullioned. So the shoulder point will have a bullion modifier applied to it, so that there's a channel for these to sit into and lock into place, and therefore you won't then see this pin showing. You'll just see the actual top of the shoulder, the actual shoulder itself, and yet the hinge will be encased all internally and still will be able to rotate and do everything that it needs to do. And that's kind of where I am with this part, working on this. I'll get rid of that bit in a minute. Working on this section, as I said, I wanted to get this top section done first. And what's going to happen with the arm is it's going to be cut. Again, this piece is going to be sliced, probably about here, just at the bottom end of the shoulder. It's going to be sliced through, and then another joint put into here, or another bar or pin or of some description, to allow then, again, like is common with action figures, this section of the arm can then rotate round independently of this going up and down. So again, lots of articulation going on. And then I can start moving on to getting the elbow system in here, which is going to be a double jointed elbow system, again, to allow it to fully pivot around and move up and down. And then of course the hand's got to go in, so it's all in bits and pieces, and it's getting there. It just takes time when you're at this stage, and it's a lot of, when you get to the joint system, it's figuring out how big something's going to be, where's it going to sit, what does it look like, is it going to work, sculpting, and then going back to the main body parts and sculpting a bit to get it all to fit, and everything's in bits and pieces, and then it will have to be joined, and so on and so on and so on and so forth. But it's getting there, it's getting there. Let's get the main body up, let's get Gates back in with the head there we are. So it's looking pretty good. I'm happy with that, happy with how it's coming along. I want to start getting, as I mentioned, this top piece pretty much finished, so that I can start to physically print these parts as I continue to sculpt and model the rest of this figurine, so that at least I can start connecting things together in the real world and see how things connect, and any modification or adjustments I need to do. In that sense, I can then come back to the 3D model and make those adjustments, reprint the part, and we're ready to carry on. But yeah, she's looking pretty good. It's coming on. It just takes time, and I often find that, you know, working on this kit, certainly this morning, you know, just focusing on this shoulder piece this morning, you know, I was sat here for a good, you know, 3 or 4 hours, and the time just goes. It's really surprising how quickly the time goes, and to the progress that is made. But there we are. It's coming along, everybody. Let's just get her hair back on, the generic hair there, sculpted just to give a bit of reference. It's looking quite good. Now, of course, this hair piece is not going to be printed. I've just put this here purely to help with ease of reference, certainly more so when I was sculpting the face, because I'm going to be having some proper doll's hair connected to the real piece once it's all 3D printed. But she's coming along, everybody. So that's where I am. That's where I am with this kit, all in bits and pieces, lots going on, lots to figure out still, lots of connecting, but it's kind of getting there. It's getting there, slow but sure. Let's get our arm in. There you go. You can start to see now how it's all going to come together. Let's get that one out. Let's get her leg in, so you kind of got a frame of reference. As I said, I will be resculpting. There will be three versions of the upper torso, or the front piece here, so that you know, the bust area is different, large, medium and small, as to whatever is people's preference as to how they want to build this kit. Again, I want to give people options here. And again, I've got the feet yet to do, and the joints here in the knee and at the top here, all to figure out get into place. But it's coming along. It's looking quite good. Looking quite good. The scaling, of course, is already set up. Being 1/6 scale, this is 12 inches. And of course, you know, when we sculpt, we measure in head height. This head is actually, the height of the head is exactly 40 millimeters. It might be slightly less, actually. It's about 38 point something, but that's fine. So that this model will stand 12 inches or 8 heads high. So it's already scaled to the right dimensions here. And there we are. And there she is, everybody. Dr. Beverly Crusher, aka Gates McFadden, or it should be the other way around, I should say, coming along, 1/6 scale, fully articulated figure. Now, I know I actually did discover the other day there is a company that has done some of these. I can't remember the name, Exo something or other. They've done them. They've done, you know, James T. Kirk, Captain Picard. You know, they've kind of done a similar thing, and fair play to them for doing it. I've got to be honest, I was looking at their Picard, their Captain Picard 1/6 scale figure. I really didn't like the head sculpt on it. It just doesn't look like Patrick Stewart. It's a good, very good reference, very good facsimile. Not entirely, not entirely spot on. But then, let's be honest, my sculpt here of Gates McFadden is not entirely spot on either. It's a reasonably good facsimile, but it's not 100% spot on perfect. But there we go. But there we go. I'll stop rambling. I'll carry on then for a little bit longer, working on this shoulder system. I probably will come back to this bit. It's looking a bit knobbly up the top here. I'm okay with this bit here. I'll probably just work on this section of the shoulder here, just to get that looking a little bit right. Yeah, I probably will. Yeah, I'm gonna get on with that, and carry on from there. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. Apologies again if I've rambled on a little bit. but there we are. Overdue for an update video on this one, but here she is. Thanks for everybody that hits the like buttons and hits the subscribe button to the channel, and for those that do put comments on my videos, I do try to reply to them as soon as I can when I see them. I've had quite a few people the last few days making posting comments with regards to the life-size Grogu model that I did last year, and I'm quite surprised at how popular that thing's become. It's had a lot of downloads on thank you for everybody for that one. I was quite shocked actually as to how many people actually liked it and have been having a go at that kit. I probably will do a video just to show people how to do the clothing for it as well. I did have a post, somebody made it, asked the question, did I actually have templates for it? So I think I'm going to have to do a separate video to that. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm going to stop there. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll be back soon with another update to this particular build over the next week or so. And of course, next weekend I am going to be focusing a little bit more on the actual USS Enterprise C model kit that's still sat on my bench here waiting to be sprayed up. So I'll be working on that and be sharing a video with you all soon on that one. Thanks everybody, you all take care, have a great evening, and look forward to catching up with you all soon.